Hello, listeners, and welcome to episode 181 of the Nigerian Football Weekly Podcast. Me, your host, Uche. Today, I've got a brand new show segment that I'm introducing, which I want to test with you guys, called the Weekend Preview Show. The idea behind this is so we can bring content to you much more frequently than once a week. I'm previewing the games involving Nigerian players over the weekend and general Premier League games. So please let me know your thoughts, comments, likes. If you like this format, if you like the way it sounds, and you like basically all your feedback is all appreciated. Before I get into it, I want to say a big thank you to all our subscribers. All you've done for us over the past few weeks has been amazing. Thank you. We're now at 9,125 subscribers, so thank you so much. And the road to 10,000 is fully on board. If you're enjoying this content, before I get into it, please remember to give us a like. Please subscribe if you love the content, and please share this to anyone who you know loves Nigerian football as well, or general football. So without any further ado, for this new show with the preview, obviously I had to bring out the old school Arsenal from 2006, the Thierry Henry times, you know, because we're talking about the Premier League as well. But before I get into the previews for the week, I want to quickly just touch on the CAF Awards, which took place 2 nights ago on Wednesday, November 19th. I want to say a big congratulations to Achraf Hakimi for winning the Men's Player of the Year. I thought that was well deserved after the incredible season he had for PSG and also his exploits to his club. So very, very well deserved. And it's not often you get a defender winning the African Footballer of the Year. So I think it's a big, big achievement. And I think it's Morocco's first African Footballer of the Year since, what's his name? Mustafa Diouf? Mustafa Hadji. I don't even know if Mustafa Hadji won, but anyway, congratulations to Morocco. I think in the women's side of things, we're a bit robbed Nigeria, if I'm being honest. Ghislaine Chebak did well in AFCON. She scored for her country. She won the league with, I think it was Al Nassr last season. But when you look at what Esther Okoronkwo did both for her club side and also winning the AFCON and getting 6 assists and 3 goals in the tournament, or even Ajibade's exploits for country, you have to say that that one leaves a sour taste in the mouth, to be honest. But Morocco, no problem. We'll give you for all this organization, but you have to admit that that women's one was not deserved. I saw some French Moroccan YouTubers. You see the way they wanted to get angry that Osimhen was nominated top 3. I think some of them just like anger. So I'm hoping that when I go on their channel, I'll see them lamenting about the fact that a Moroccan player undeservedly won the Women's Player of the Year. So just be ignoring all those people, I'll tell you. Anyway, goalkeeper of the year for men's was Yassine Bono. Interesting one. I mean, Al Hilal, Club World Cup. I can't really think out loud of who else could have gotten it ahead of him, but surely we must have had some better candidates. But anyway, congratulations to Bono. And of course, big congratulations to Chiamaka Nnadozie, our Nigeria goalkeeper, who won the CAF Women's Player of the Year goalkeeper for the 3rd straight year in a row. Big achievement and very, very fully deserved. In fact, she's one of the top 5 best goalkeepers in the world as far as I'm concerned. So shout out to our women who continue to keep the flag flying even when we are failing. I don't know who was given the coach of the year for the women's, but I'm pretty shocked it's not Justin Madugu for winning the AFCON. But other awards to be aware about: Youth Player of the Year was Uthman Mama, who is the Moroccan player. He was part of the Under-20 team that just won the Under-20 World Cup. He's on the books of Watford at the moment, and he's one of those clear awards that shows you the progression of a well-run, competent federation. I have a lot of things coming around how we can learn from even our African federations on outside. But look at how the under-20 players Morocco have, who are already probably even ready to be moved on to the national team. But the quality is telling. They are all primed, already ready. Go and look at the under-20 squad. Half of them are playing already in Europe and abroad. Half of them were not even born in Morocco, but they're already playing for Morocco on a 20 level. So, fail to prepare to fail. NFF, stop giving us excuses and stop apologizing to the president. Go and work. Go and figure out your duties. First of all of you in that board should resign. We know there's NFF presidency next September, so we'll be watching closely. But reform must start now for 2030. All of you as a man must go. We need action. We need financial transparency, a whole framework. There's so many things that can be done so that we can also learn from our brothers Morocco. Thank God they've not yet won AFCON to rub down in our necks, but you can see the progress everywhere. Women's Youth Player of the Year was also Moroccan Doha El Madani. Congratulations. Inter-Club Player of the Year was Fiston Mayele. Very, very well deserved. You saw what he did to Nigeria on Sunday for Congo. So well deserved. Women's Inter-Club Player of the Year in Africa, Shamira Nabada. Congratulations to her. Coach of the Year for the men's was Bobista of Cape Verde. Well deserved. The fact that Cape Verde in the World Cup is a monumental achievement. Club of the Year, Pyramids FC. No surprise there. Team of the Year for men, Moroccan Morocco under 20 football team. No qualms there. There was no AFCON this year, so Morocco under 20 win it after winning the under 20 World Cup. And importantly for us, the team of the year for women's is the Nigeria women's national football team. So congratulations to the Super Falcons for all the joy you bring us and for all your success. 10 AFCONs out of 13, and this is despite the NFF trying to handicap you and make your lives harder. So congratulations to you guys, and I want to say a big thank you. Anyway, now to the main preview for the weekend, and today is Friday 21st November. I'm recording this slightly late. It's 4:30, but the Premier League is back, baby. Nigerian fans, this is the time to throw away your sorrows. Don't be worried anymore. Why are you so worried? It's over. Club football is back. If you're watching this channel, it's very likely you love your club football as well, and you have your team, and you also derive joy and pleasure from club football. So that's what I'm all about here as well. Obviously, we're always championing Nigerian players, their club sides, but we also want to talk about the Premier League in detail. So, going into match day 12, how does the Premier League table look? Obviously, Arsenal are currently top after 11 games. 8 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. 20 goals scored and 5 goals conceded. Plus 15 goal difference to give us 26 points. Man City are 4 points behind us, but with the same number of goal difference plus 15. They've won 1 less game, and they've drawn 1 less game, but they've lost 2 more. So interesting. And then Chelsea are third with 20 points from 11 games, 6 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses, with Sunderland wrapping up the top 4 with 19 points after 11 games, which is an incredible achievement considering that they were the team who actually got promoted via the Championship playoffs. You then have about 5 teams all on 18 points between 5th and 9th. So Tottenham, Aston Villa, Man United, Liverpool and Bournemouth all on 18 points. And then Crystal Palace are 11th on 17 points. You then have Brighton and Brentford on 16, Everton on 15, Newcastle on 12, and then Fulham and Leeds United on 11 points. And then Burnley are currently just out of relegation zone on 10 points, but they have a better goal difference than West Ham of +8 compared to -8 compared to -10. And then Nottingham Forest are 19th with 9 points. And Wolves are bottom last and embarrassing the division with 2 points so far from 11 games. So it's a very congested Premier League table this season. The difference between 4th place Sunderland and 18th place West Ham is literally 9 points. So that is pretty crazy. So this season is the battle till you die. Literally everybody can get it. Bass boost. So, just to refresh your memory now that we're back, top goal scorers in the Prem so far after 11 games. Erling Haaland is clear with 14 goals. He also has 1 assist for good measure. Igor Thiago's got 8 goals out of 11 appearances for Brentford, which is a monumental achievement considering the fact that he was injured throughout the whole of last season and was brought in to replace Mbeumo and Wissa. So, phenomenal achievement. You then have Semenyo, Danny Welbeck and Jean-Philippe Mateta on 6 goals each, and then Brian Mbeumo on 5 goals. And then we have about 9 players all on 4 goals. But Mohamed Salah is part of that group. Iliman Ndiaye is part of that group. Krupi Jr., Woltemada, Gyökeres. Assists, very simple. Jack Grealish and Kudus have 4 assists each. And also, Hartman of Burnley, their left back. He looks like a FPL gem to monitor. So he's got 4 assists from 11 games. And then you've got a bunch of players on 3. So, what are the PL games involving Nigerian players this weekend, and what can we think? First one is always with the Fulham boys, because you know that's where majority of our Nigerian players play. That's where we have the best performing Nigerian players in the Premier League at the moment. So the Fulham boys currently 15th place after 11 games played. They've only won 3 games, drawn 2 and lost 6. So they need to find their form again. They'll be playing Sunderland, who are 4th in the league, at Craven Cottage on Saturday tomorrow, 4 p.m. kickoff Nigeria time. It's been 3 straight losses for Fulham in the PL, so it's time for them to get back to winning ways. But the problem is they have a very tough fixture against Sunderland, who have won 2 and drawn 1 of their last 5 away games. So this is a team that also plays well away from home, it must be said. It's been very stop-start for Fulham, it must be said, this season. Their strikers are not yet firing. When you look at Jimenez and Rodrigo Muniz's number of goals this season, you can see that clear deficiency. So they're really struggling in terms of their firepower. It must be said that Sunderland were very impressive in their last home game, which was against Arsenal, where they got a last-minute equalizer by Brian Bobby to make it 2-2. So this one's going to be a tricky tricky game for sure. What are the expectations of the Nigerian players? I think Bassey and Iwobi will definitely start the game for sure. And in terms of them, I think they just need to focus on getting their joy back. AFCON is 4.5 weeks away. They need to get rid of disappointment because there's nothing you can do about spilled milk anyway. You know, focus on the game at hand and just get your joy back over the next few weeks and performing well. Bassey has had a few stop-start games for Fulham this season, particularly against Newcastle away. So he just needs to maintain his form because he was excellent for us on Sunday. So Bassey just needs to keep playing well and let's go to AFCON and let's go and win this thing. It will be as well. Go and get your joy back. Clear your mind of all the Super Eagles noise and people commenting that you posted something. Like the amount of rubbish we deal with in Nigeria. Anyway, let me not put it like that because England, you have their racist writers who want to speak on Jude Bellingham. So every country get their wala. England, they will never love you as much if you're a black man. Nigeria, we know our own. So anyway, it will be just focus on positive and deliver for your club side and let's get it. Chukuwueze as well, he came on and played 32 minutes in their last game. They lost when they played Everton last week, before the international break. But let's see if he can get 32 minutes again and more importantly, get his first Premier League goal of the season. Predictions-wise, I think this game will end 1-1 when I look at the state of both clubs. So let's see how that goes. In terms of FPL tips, by the way, as I'm doing this FPL tips, let me know if you want me to do a separate video of FPL, but I know a few commenters have asked for FPL tips on teams, so I want to infuse it into this video, but let me know if I should keep it separate going forward. Anyway, FPL tips. Sunderland, Jordi Mukele, the defender, is one of the cheapest defenders on the game. 4.1 million he costs right now. Him, Alderete and Dan Ballard all have over 5 points a game on average when you look at the amount of points they've garnered throughout this season. Xhaka can also be a decent option in midfield if you need a fifth midfielder or you want to rely more on defensive contributions rather than midfielders that will score or assist. So I wouldn't rule him out as an option. I would avoid Fulham for now, to be honest, except Joachim Anderson, the centre-back. He averages 3.9 points per game. So it's one of those ones, but Fulham don't really keep clean sheets, but he gets defensive contributions most of the time, so make of that what you will. Now, another team that we have to preview this week is the Liverpool vs Nottingham Forest game, because Tyrone Awoniyi will be featuring in that game. This game will be Saturday, 4 p.m. at Anfield. Liverpool are currently 8th in the league after losing 5 of their last 6 Premier League games, while Nottingham Forest are 19th in the league. It must be said that there's been an upturn in form for Nottingham Forest over the last few weeks since Sean Dyche became their manager. They've got a draw and a win in their last 2 games. Remember, they drew United 2-2 just before the international break, and before then they beat Leeds United 3-1. So they're beginning to look positive. Also, on a positive note, Awoniyi has come off the bench in the last 4 games for Nottingham Forest. So Sean Dyche definitely has taken a liking to him as a player. Although the last game he played 31 minutes, which is more than the last 4 games. But his own expectation is simple: just go and score your first Premier League goal of the season and try to force your way into conversations, because Chris Wood is still the first choice striker. They've still got a few players they signed, but Awoniyi really needs to get back to scoring goals, hopefully. As for Liverpool, on the other hand, as I said, they lost 5 of their last 6 games, including a 3-0 drubbing to Man City the last time out before the international break. But I think they'll be confident of getting a win over Nottingham Forest. Remember last season, Nottingham Forest were the only team that Liverpool lost to until they won the Premier League. Liverpool ended up losing 4 games, but they did not lose any more apart from Nottingham Forest at Anfield 1-0 Hudson-Odoi. So I'm sure they will be keen to right those wrongs, and I can really see Liverpool winning this game 2-0, to be honest. In terms of FPL, no real consistent starter to pick from FPL attacking wise for Liverpool. I don't think Salah justifies his price at the moment when you think of just how expensive he is. Ekitike is a good one, but you're not sure if he starts with Isaac playing games, you know. So I'll say hold off from Liverpool for now. If you were to get any player from Liverpool, I'll say get Virgil van Dijk. The next 5-6 games are very, very easy. And Van Dijk is a pretty much ready-made replacement for Gabriel. Although I wouldn't expect Liverpool to keep as many clean sheets as Arsenal, but Van Dijk is a threat from set pieces, and he also guzzles up defensive contribution points, which means he got 12 points in. He made 12 defensive actions in a match. Nottingham Forest ignored their whole team for now, to be honest. Moving on to Frank Onyeka and Brentford. Brentford go away to play Brighton tomorrow, Saturday, 4 p.m. at Amex Stadium. This is a proper mid-table clash. Brighton 11th, Brentford 12th. So it should be an interesting one to see. Brighton drew 0-0 last time out to Crystal Palace in the M25 derby, but they did beat Leeds United 3-0 the last time that they played a home game at the Amex Stadium. Brentford, on the other hand, have seen an upturn in form too. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, including a 3-1 win over Newcastle in their last game before the international break. Thiago got a brace, so fantastic performance by both sides in recent games, to be honest. It's an interesting one to see how this game will go, because both teams are strong at home, but also still do decently enough when they play away. Game expectations for Frank Onyeka: he's unlikely to start this game. He's been playing charity minutes. The current midfield partnership of Jordan Henderson and Yarmouk are doing very well. So you have to say for Onyeka right now, just hoping to get minutes off the bench, and let's see if that will do him a world of good. He was also an unused sub in their last game against Newcastle, so any minutes in this match tomorrow will be positive as far as I'm concerned, because he needs his match sharpness for AFCON. I think one of the reasons Onyeka even tired is his match sharpness was not there already from club football. Then you don't now train one day before you play Congo. Obviously, before we played Gabon, but you saw how physically the Congolese were much better than us on Sunday. So we wish him well anyway. My prediction for this game is a 2-1 Brighton win. I think Brighton are pretty strong at home. I expect Danny Welbeck to continue his good form. In terms of FPL tips for this game, I would say Thiago, second top goal scorer in Premier League. In fact, I'm plotting out, I'll bring him into my team probably next week or the week after. As for the Brighton boys, Yakuba Minte and Danny Welbeck are good options, to be honest. They've got 3 home games in the next 4 games. Minte has been averaging 4.4 points per game, and Danny Welbeck 4.1 points. So those are good options when it comes to FPL. And finally, involving Nigerian players, we have to talk about Uche and Arokodare. Wolverhampton will be hosting Crystal Palace at Molineux tomorrow at 4 p.m. as well. So this is the battle of Nigerian players who are getting charity minutes at their club or no minutes at all. Both of these players, of course, moved to the Premier League at the start of the summer, but you have to say that both of their moves have not gone well so far. So this is an interesting game to watch. Quick preview just shows that Wolves have lost 4 straight games, and they've lost 9 of their 11 games in the Premier League this season. To be honest, they're already relegated. I cannot see them escaping in any shape or form. Palace, on the other hand, are coming off the 0-0 draw at home against Brighton, but they've only won 1 of their last 5 games in the Premier League. But they have quite a few home games coming up, so let's see how it goes. In terms of expectations for Arokodare and Uche, to be honest, minimal across both. I guess both of them will be on the bench. Uche may not even be on the bench. But Arokodare will likely get some minutes, even if it's like 10 or less than 10. But we'll see. While it's up in the air for Christian Uche, we just have to pray at this point and hope that Glasner favors him and gives him some opportunities. My prediction for this game, I think Palace will win this 2-0 comfortably. John-Philippe Mateta, please score. You're my FPL. I don't want to hear a story. So speaking of FPL tips, do not get any player from Wolves unless you're stupid. As for Crystal Palace, I think there's quite a few options here. Mateta, he averages 5.1 points per game. They also have good fixtures with Wolves and Burnley away in the next 3. So it's not as if they have home games, but they're playing a lot of the beating boys. So let's see how that goes. Also, Ismaila Sarr is a good option. He's averaging 5.4 points per FPL game. And also, Chris Richards and Maguire are good shouts in defense. Crystal Palace keep a certain number of clean sheets, to be fair, a decent amount. And Richards and Gay can also get defensive contributions at certain points, especially Chris Richards. Do not sleep on the American centre back. So that's it in terms of the Premier League games involving our players. The North London derby. Tottenham will be coming to the Emirates Stadium on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Nigeria time. What can we say about this game? Arsenal are first, Tottenham are 5th. When you look at Arsenal's record in the North London derby over the past few years, it's nothing short of exceptional, to be honest. Yes, before the international break, we drew 2-2 against Sunderland, but we've been flying high in the Prem all season. The draw against Sunderland ended a run of 5 straight Premier League wins, but I'll be honest, I'm feeling confident, and we have a very, very impressive home record against Spurs. This whole millennium, we've only lost 1 time at home to Tottenham Hotspur, and that was in 2010 when Yunus Kabul scored that header under Harry Redknapp. I'm sure some listeners remember that match. When you even look at our record, we've won 7 of the last 9 derbies, home or away. including 5 wins and 1 draw in our last 6 games against Tottenham. At the Emirates, we've won 4 of our last 5 derbies, including the 2-1 win in January this year. Remember earlier this year when Leandro Trossard scored the winning goal for us. So, feeling very confident. Spurs, on the other hand, they're 5th and they're winless in their last 2 games. Obviously, they drew 2-2 against United with De Ligt scoring a last-minute winner. And then before that, they got absolutely thrashed 1-0 by Chelsea. I said thrashed because even though it was 1-0, we all know that Chelsea balled them out and it should have been 5 or 6-0 in that game, in all honesty. But I'm sure Spurs will still be feeling confident about themselves. You know, they have the joint best away record in the Prem alongside Arsenal. They've played 5 games, they've won 4 and they've drawn only 1. But the Emirates is a different test. And let's be honest, the derby is a derby. Both teams also have significant injuries, especially Arsenal. Obviously, Gabriel is now out. So let's see what Mosquera or Hincapié can do. We're still waiting to see if any of our strikers will be back. I heard Jesus may be close to full fitness. Arteta did his press conference today, but didn't give too much away. He said we have another training session tomorrow, so he will assess the players. The good news is Saka will still play, Trossard will still play. I'm not sure about the striker, but Declan Rice should be on the pitch. Eze should be on the pitch. You know, Saliba will still be on the pitch. So I feel very confident. As for the Spurs players, you know, I think Kudus will be back from his injury after missing the last game. They also have a few injuries with a few strikers, especially Solanke, you know, and I think Kolomwani, but I'm not sure if Kolomwani is back. Key players for this game, very simple. I think Rice and Saka are the keys for Arsenal, and also Saliba, you know, because he's going to have to marshal whoever the centre-back who comes in to replace Gabriel will be. Obviously, our fullbacks are extremely important as well, Timber and Calafiori, although Calafiori has yet to train for Arsenal this week. So there's a world where Lewis Kelly will play, and that'll make me very happy because he was exceptional last season as well. Key players for Tottenham, I think they need Kudus because creativity-wise, they're not the best right now, Tottenham. And when Kudus doesn't play, you can see the deficiency in their chance creation. And obviously, Mickey van der Ven, their centre-back, because he's going to have a lot to deal with in this match. And let's see how it goes. But prediction-wise, I'm going for a 2-0 Arsenal win. I think it'll be relatively straightforward, hopefully. FPL-wise, with Gabriel out, you need an Arsenal defender in your team. Go and get Julian Timber if you don't already. If you need a goalkeeper that you want to set and forget, David Raya is also a good option because of the amount of clean sheets Arsenal keep. Saka and Rice, obviously, are always picks. Rice right now is the second highest scoring midfielder in the game after Semenyo. So get Declan Rice in your team. But if you're looking for an X factor, I think Saka could really rise it over the next 2 months. You know, now that he's back to full fitness and also playing games both for club and country. So let's see how that game goes. Moving on to Newcastle versus Man City at St. James's Park, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Newcastle currently find themselves 14th, while Man City are looking to push for the title. I watched Guardiola's press conference today where he said they just have to be there by March. So the real season starts now. So he's trying to put pressure on our guys. But my guy, you don't have De Bruyne again. And you have Ryan on Haaland. So let's see how that one goes. But Newcastle have been very Jekyll and Hyde this season. They win a lot of games at home and lose away a lot of times, including their last 2 games. They've lost them away. Brentford 3-1 away, and they also lost 3-1 to West Ham. Do you know what it means for you to lose to West Ham? They did win their last 2 games at home though, 2-1 against Fulham and 2-0 over Forest. So they'll give themselves a chance. But if you're Man City, you're feeling confident. You've won 5 of your last 6 Premier League games, including thrashing Liverpool 3-0 before the international break. The only caveat though is their last away game, they lost 1-0 to Aston Villa. So that's what we're still trying to see from Pep's teams. You know, can we see that real consistency we expect from Man City? Or would they continue this stop-start season they're having, especially when they play away from home? So watch this space. Key players, I mean, it goes without saying, Erling Haaland, he's on course to even break his own goal-scoring record in Premier League of 36 goals. Jeremy Doku has also improved a lot as a footballer, and we saw how well he took his goal against Liverpool. So let's see what Jeremy Doku can do again on Saturday tomorrow. I also think Rodriguez will be important, the midfielder who's still baptizing in Rodri's absence. And as for Newcastle, the entire midfield will be important in this match, to be honest, to try and control the midfield. I mean, who are we talking about? Tonali, Joel Linton, and Bruno Guimaraes. So let's see how they all get on. I also think that centre-backs, Malik Thiaw and Sven Botman, is going to be a deadly day for them playing against Erling Haaland. So they need to be on job. And then obviously Nick Watermada, the striker, keeps scoring goals for Germany and Newcastle, even though Newcastle results have been nothing to write home about. So let's see what he can do for Newcastle in this game. My prediction for this one is a 1-1. I think Newcastle, if any team will take points off City away, it will be Newcastle. It was not last season, but remember the year before where De Bruyne played that last-minute ball for Oscar Bob to put the ball in the net. So De Bruyne is not there anymore anyway. So hopefully, Newcastle, rise it to. You are 14th. You need to work hard. So let's see how it goes. FPL tips, very simple. If Erling Haaland is your team, if Erling Haaland is not in your team, you're not playing FPL. Cancel your game right now. That's simple. Doku is also a good option, but I need more consistency from him. And I also plan to bring in Matheus Nunes, the right back for Man City at the moment. He's starting all their last 6 games, keeping clean sheets here or there as well. And you can also get Donnarumma. Donnarumma is currently my goalkeeper in my FPL, simply because I already have 3 Arsenal players, so I didn't want to bring in David Raya. So I went with Donnarumma instead. As for Newcastle, the only player I can use my conscience to recommend for you right now, in terms of FPL, is Nick Watermada. Another player I forgot to mention in terms of importance for this game is Kieran Trippier. If he's going to be the one that has to defend Jeremy Doku, it's going to be a deadly day for him. He's going to need to pray that Livramento is back from injury. So let's see about that game. Burnley also play Chelsea tomorrow in the early kickoff in the Premier League. So 1:30 p.m. Nigeria time at Tottenham. Chelsea are currently 3rd while Burnley are 17th in the league. I mean, Burnley have been very stop-start this season, but impressive when you consider they're a newly promoted team. You know, they're out of relegation zone at the moment with 10 points. They've got 3 wins and 1 draw from their first 11 games, but they lost their last 2 games, including 2-0 to Arsenal at home. And then Chelsea, on the other hand, have won 4 of their last 5 games, including keeping 3 clean sheets, which is quite interesting for Chelsea. 3-0 over Wolves in their last game before the international break. And of course, they thrashed Spurs 1-0, even though it should have been 5 or 6. So I fancy Chelsea heavily in this game, to be honest. There's no need to talk too much. Key players, let's see if Jadon Anthony and Fleming, the striker, could do anything for Burnley. Also, Esteve and Tuanzebe, the centre-backs, will have to have the games of their lives to prevent Chelsea from winning this game. But if you're Chelsea, you're feeling confident. Pedro Neto was very impressive in the last game. He loves playing well against his old teams anyway. But more importantly, I think also João Pedro, Garnacho, and the person that impresses me the most right now from your team, Estevao. I think your attackers will be your key players in this game. So let's see if Chelsea can get the job done. I'm predicting a 3-0 Chelsea win in this game, though. I think they have enough to get the job done. So let's see how it goes. As for Man United versus Everton, this is a Monday 9 p.m. game at Old Trafford. Man United currently 7th in the Premier League, while Aston Villa are 6th. So pretty much neck and neck between... Man United are playing Everton. Forgive me. I'm wrong one. Everton are 13th, Man United are 7th. Monday 9 p.m. at Old Trafford. It's been an impressive upturn in form for Man United, it must be said. Despite drawing their last 2 games, which were away at Spurs and Forest, they're sitting in 7th position, and they've won their last 4 home games, most importantly. So I'll expect that to continue for the Red Devils. Everton, on the other hand, they did beat Fulham 2-0 last time out before the international break, but they're winless in their last 3 away games. Although 2 of those games were against City and Liverpool, which they respectfully lost. But their last away game, they actually drew 1-1 against Sunderland, with Liman Ndiaye scoring a great goal. So it's an interesting one to predict, but I would say it will be 2-1 to Manchester United. I think the key players for United will be Bryan Mbeumo, Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo, all attacking-wise. And for Everton, it will be Iliman Ndiaye and Jack Grealish. FPL-wise, I've brought Ahmad into my team. In reality, I wanted Mbeumo, but I didn't have the money to make it work. So I think if you have money to bring Mbeumo in, he's been in great form for Man United. Get Mbeumo in. He also plays more higher up the pitch than Fernandes. But if you like the security of penalty taking and also some defensive contributions here and there, go with Bruno Fernandes. Ahmad is also a good option, so see what go on. I have Iliman Ndiaye in my team as well. I'll say it's a good option to have. Although be worried that he's going to go to AFCON in about 4 or 5 game weeks. Also, Michael Keane, the centre-back, he started playing really well for Everton, so he may be one that could be an opportunity here or there, so see how you feel. Other games in the Premier League talk about Leeds United play Aston Villa Sunday 3 p.m. at Elland Road. Villa come into this in impressive form, it must be said. They've won 4 games in their last 5, leading to them being 6th in the Premier League. Considering how they started their struggles at the start of the season, this is really, really good for them. So they'll be looking to really continue this good form. They even thrashed Bournemouth 4-0 before the international break, and this despite Oli Watkins struggling to score goals. Although in their last away game, they did lose 2-0 to Liverpool. Liverpool. Leeds, on the other hand, are such a home and away side, but they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. They did win their last home game, which was 2-1 over West Ham, so this should be an interesting game. My prediction will be 1-1. I think key players, Bondia has somehow figured out his form for Aston Villa, so long may it continue. Donny O'Malley is also playing well, and I think the midfielders, Amadou Onana and Kamara, will be very important. And if Ross Barkley can also make an amazing contribution off the bench like he did last time out, that'll be very good for Villa. As for Leeds, I think Brendan Aronson and Joe Rodon are probably their key players. Aronson's been playing really well in the last few games despite the poor results. So let's see how this one goes. FPL tips, none. Stay clear from both of these teams, to be honest. And I think it will end 1-1. As for the final Premier League game, Bournemouth will be playing West Ham United. Bournemouth are now 9th, while West Ham are 18th. How's this one going? Bournemouth will be smarting after their 4-0 loss, of course, so they'll be looking to follow it up with a win. We know they also lost 3-1 City before that 4-0 dropping by Villa, so they'll be keen to get back to winning ways. The good news for them is they're very strong at home. They have the 3rd best home record in the league after Arsenal and Man City, so they'll fancy themselves strongly here. West Ham, on the other hand, have caught a life under Nuno Espirito Santo, which is interesting to see. You know, they've won their last 2 games, both at home, 3-2 to Burnley, 3-1 over Newcastle. But they lost their last 2 games, but they lost their last 2 away games. So I fancy Bournemouth in this one for sure. Key players in FPL teams, Semenyo. I mean, what else is there to say? We know that David Ornstein mentioned that the Big Six are looking at him for January, but I hope he stays there till the summer. Go and ball out for Ghana, and we'll see you in the summer when your release clause will be even lower. Also, Krupi Jr., fantastic 90-year-old French striker, signed straight from Lorient in League 2, and is already batting up the Prem. I think he has 4 or 5 Premier League goals already, so look out for him. Also, Marco Senesi, Argentine centre-back. He's a defensive contributions monster. If you don't have him in your FPL, go and get him. He's the best cheap defender. He will get you 12 defensive contributions every single week, except 1 or 2 here or there. And then for West Ham, we know that Callum Wilson scored in the last game out, so let's see if he could keep scoring. But key players, he has to be Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta, and Matias Fernandez, the midfield. Also, their wingers are Wan-Bissaka and Malik Diouf, literally AFCON wing backs. So those should also be important players. I think this will end 3-1 for Bournemouth, and they should be cruising in this one, to be honest about this. So that's it in terms of the Premier League games that will be taking place this weekend. Let me know your thoughts on the segment and the format. Just before we round up, I also wanted to just bring to your listening pleasure 8 Nigerian players that will be playing outside of the Premier League in Europe that I want you to watch their game and see how they perform, because you know AFCON is coming, so there's AFCON watch as well. Starting very quickly with Maduka Okoye, whose Udinese team will be hosting Bologna this Saturday, 3 p.m. Nigeria time. Udinese are currently 10th in the league, while Bologna are 5th in the division. I mean, when you look at Maduka's performance so far, Maduka has started all 5 games since suspension was ended, including 2 wins in that period, and he got a clean sheet in their last home game against Ademola Lookman's Atalanta so far. Their last game out, Udinese lost 2-0 away to Roma at the Olimpico, which is no bad feat considering that Roma are currently top of the league, you know, and flying under Gasperini. But one thing to say is Bologna will be a very, very tough opponent. Bologna are flying high again after being in the UCL last season. You know, they're currently 5th, and they beat the champions Napoli 2-0 last time out. Riccardo Solini continues to perform well. So I think this is a real banana skin for Maduka and Udinese. My expectations for Maduka, I think, is very confident, and we know who start the game. Look, Maduka needs to look towards AFCON. You know, with all the debates about goalkeepers, just keep performing well. But I think this game will end in a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have Ademola Lookman's Atalanta. They'll be in action away against Napoli at the Diego Maradona Stadium, Saturday, 8:45 p.m. tomorrow. This one's very interesting because we know Lookman has really struggled for form for club and country. We know that Atalanta sacked Ivan Juric before the international break, so they have a new manager, Rafael Palladino. From their first 11 games of the season, they've drawn a whopping 7 games. 7, yes. They've only won 2 games and they've lost 2, which is why they find themselves in 13th place in the league right now. But the good news is they're only 6 points off Juventus in 6th place, which is the European spots. Although although they're winless in 7 Serie A games, which is too bad. So they need to sort out their form. You know, the fact that they're playing the champions who lost to Bologna last time out makes it even trickier because Napoli will be looking to win, of course, now that they're coming back. But this is an interesting game. I think for Lookman, the expectations are simple. Find your joy again. Play well on a new manager and just rediscover your joy for football. Don't worry about transfers till January or the summer. Just focus on enjoying playing football again. So we need him to add to his 1 goal of the season so far and play himself into form ahead of the AFCON. Because whether we like it or not, Ademola Lookman is still a very, very serious and important player for the Super Eagles. I think this game will end 1-1. Now, also in Serie A, just to finish up with Serie A, Gift Orban will be in action for Verona. People have spoken in the comments about why was Gift Orban not caught up. Gift Orban's team right now are 19th in Serie A. Verona are not playing very well. Yes, Orban himself has had some good moments. This weekend, we'll see him in action at home against Parma. Parma are 17th, so just outside the relegation zone. You know, this is a 12:30 kickoff in Nigeria on Sunday. The interesting thing is, these are another team that are chasing their first victory of the season, you know, Verona. But they've drawn 3 of their last 5 games, and they were very unlucky to lose one of those games 2-1 to Inter Milan with a last-minute goal, putting paid to their chances of a draw. But Orban has played well in some of these games. He has 2 goals so far in the season. Parma, on the other hand, their new manager is the former Arsenal coach, Carlos Cuesta. Remember the young Arsenal coach that was Arteta's right-hand man. So he's now the Parma coach. This will be very, very tricky because Parma have only 1 win so far. But Verona know that if they win this game against Parma at home, they will climb out of the relegation zone. So what are my expectations? Orban needs to have a good game, add consistency and start scoring goals. So he has 2 goals and 1 assist in 9 games so far. That's not good enough. He needs to improve that significantly. So let's see what he's able to do. My prediction is a 1-0 win for Verona. Hopefully Gift Orban scores the winner and they'll finally get 3 points on the board. Now moving on to Belgium very quickly. Raphael Onyedika, who our manager refuses to play and give even 1 minute at AFCON. I want all of you guys to follow his gameplay for Club Brugge in Belgium and also in the Champions League. So this weekend, Onyedika's Club Brugge will be in action against Sporting Charleroi, which is where Osimhen started his career, rebuilt his career after Wolfsburg. The game will be played tomorrow, Saturday, 8:45 p.m. At the moment, Onyedika's Club Brugge are 4 points behind Union Saint-Gilloise, who are top of the Belgian league after 14 games. But the good news for Club Brugge is they won 4 games in a row in the league, and they're doing well in the Champions League. So you'd expect them to beat Charleroi. This should be a routine victory, to be honest. Expectations for Onyedika, find your joy again. You should be feeling fresh, so just go and ball out. You know, keep showing the manager and also balling in Champions League and show everybody why you deserve to start for the Super Eagles. We know they've got Champions League games next week and I'm going to play Sporting Lisbon away. So I'm really looking forward to Onyedika showing up and doing another masterclass, hopefully. This game will end 3-0 to Club Brugge. No need to think I'm too much. And then rave of the moment, Benjamin Frederick. I want everybody to track the way Benjamin is playing for his club as well. Now, when we look at Benjamin Frederick's situation, he's currently playing for the team that is the bottom last in Belgium. FCV Denda are 16th out of 16 teams in the Belgian Pro League, in the Jupiler Pro League. Now, they'll be playing Royal Antwerp, who won the league a few seasons ago with Alassane Youssouf, but Royal Antwerp currently find themselves in problems. They're currently 14th in the league. This game is a Sunday 4 p.m. kickoff Nigeria time. I mean, when you look at how bad Denda are, it's crazy. They have 5 points after 14 games, 5 draws, 9 losses, and no wins. And they are 7 points off the next best team in the division. So are Cercle Brugge. So they're a really, really terrible team. In fact, I can't believe that this is where Frederick is. Yeah, I even hope that somehow Brentford can renegotiate his loan. Send him somewhere else. Like, this is a player that is boring out for Nigeria. He can surely start in the top 5 league. Please get him out of there, you know. Although one thing to say about Denda is their last game, they did draw 2-2 to Zulte Waregem, and they narrowly lost 2-1 to Club Brugge 3 weeks ago. So maybe there's signs of uprising. But Royal Antwerp, who are struggling after winning the league and have just 3 wins, it's going to be an interesting game with Denda going away. To be honest, I think Denda will lose this game 2-1. But most importantly, expectations for Frederick, just continue to wow us, my boy. Keep doing well, keep shining. We dare your back, my brother, you know, and continue playing these games. He has started their last 3 games as centre back, and long may that continue. Final 2 before I end the podcast. I want to call out Victor Boniface because of AFCON Watch. Obviously, we know we're not satisfied with Arokodare as striker, and with the expanded squad list, there's a chance Nigeria will take 4 strikers to AFCON. Osimhen and Akko Adams are already confirmed, but I think there's a big fight for the remaining 2 striker slots potentially. So Boniface is someone to watch. This weekend, Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Nigeria time, his Werder Bremen team will be playing RB Leipzig away. RB Leipzig are currently 2nd, while Werder Bremen are 8th. Now, the positive news for Werder Bremen is they're unbeaten in their last 5 games. They have 3 wins and 2 draws in that period. They've not lost a game since the end of September, so that's pretty good. At the moment, they're only 4 points off the European spots and 6 points off the Champions League spots, so they need to keep their form going. But the problem for them is they are about to play their second hardest fixture on paper in the Bundesliga. The hardest fixture you can play in the Bundesliga is going away to the Allianz Arena to play Bayern Munich. Traditionally, you would say the second hardest would have been going to play at Borussia Dortmund. But right now, based on how Leipzig are playing, going to play Leipzig at Red Bull Arena is the second hardest game you can play in the Bundesliga. And that is what Werder Bremen have to face this weekend. Just for context, Leipzig have won 7 of their first 10 games so far. And they've also won 3 of their last 4 games. So it'll be a very tough game for Boniface and Werder Bremen. Expectations for Boniface: after starting 2 of the last 3 games for Werder Bremen, he dropped to the bench in their last game, but he managed to get a lucky assist where he tried that bicycle kick that he kicked the ball straight into the air. And then Mbangula watched the ball well and just placed into the net. So we're going to need Boniface to either continue starting games. At the moment, he's yet to score. He has 2 assists and no goals in about 8 games for Wolfsburg. So he needs to break his duck. So all he needs to do is find a way to score a goal. But for this game, I will predict that Leipzig will win this game 2-1 in all honesty. But let's see if Boniface can at least get the consolation. And then finally, Onuachu, AFCON watch as well. Everybody's been clamoring for Onuachu to be called up. Why was he not in the squad? So watch him this weekend. Now, Onuachu's been flying in the Turkish Super League, it must be said. His Trabzonspor team currently are 3rd in the league, and they'll be playing Istanbul Basaksehir, who are 12th and won the league about 4 years ago. Now, this game will be played on Monday, 6 p.m. What can you say about Trabzonspor? What campaign so far? They also won the league a few years ago. You know, they're currently 3rd with 7 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss from their first 12 games. They're only 4 points off Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray, who are the top team right now, especially after Galatasaray lost to Kayserispor before the international break. The one problem for Trabzonspor, though, is they drew their last 2 games. 1-1 against Alanyaspor and 0-0 against Galatasaray, which was is no insult to have anyway. But their opponents, Istanbul, lost 2-1 to Cenk but 1-1-0 against Kayserispor in their last home game. But Trabzonspor should be feeling confident in this game. Expectations for Onuachu, very simple. Keep brimming with confidence. Keep flogging this league, man. He's the top goal scorer with 8 goals and 1 assist after 12 games so far. And I'm sure he has an eye on AFCON. So just keep performing, keep scoring spectacular goals that we have no choice but to call you back. And I think for this game, Trabzonspor will win this game by 2-1. So that's it for this episode of the podcast. Please let me know what you think about this new series that we're trying to introduce ahead of the weekend. Let me know if you found it helpful or not. But please, I appreciate every single listener. Thank you for all the love, all the support, every like, every share, every subscribe. Please remember we're Nigeria Football Weekly on all social media channels. Apart from Twitter, we're at NFWPOD. I think we're almost at 4,000 followers on TikTok. So God bless everybody who's seen this video from there. Until next time, I've been your host, Uche. Make sure you enjoy all the football over the weekend. And please, most importantly, give me your comments and your feedback on this new series and how we can continue to iterate it for your listening pleasure as we go forward. Enjoy the football. Good luck to my Gunners. And I'll see you on the next episode of Nigeria Football Weekly on Monday. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigeriano de Eva Karila.